Hey there, Teresa from Painted Relaxations coming to you guys today for our last day of April flowers. I hope you guys have enjoyed our April flowers. I have. We've done a lot of really fun projects. And I wanted to point out something because, you know, Mother's Day is right around the corner. And if your mother is like my mother, she really likes flowers, right? So I wanted to point out the fact that all month long we've focused on a lot of different flower projects that could easily be done as Mother's Day gifts. So go back and catch those replays and see if there's something fun you want to create for your mama. She will love it. Mamas love handmade presents, right? Sorry guys, I am still cleaning up from several different projects. So, how's everybody doing? It's Tuesday afternoon. You know, day's going pretty good. I've been cutting out wood rounds for an upcoming party. Did you guys know that I do door hangers as well? I do. And you know what? You can actually order custom door hangers. So you know what? If you're looking for a door hanger, let me know. Reach out. Let me know what you're looking for. Okay, I think I have an idea we're gonna start with today. And I want to show you guys a little bit of what you can do with stencils. Now, I have Pumpkin and Viking here who are really kind of crowding in, so let's move them back a little bit. Viking's got to move back. You got plenty of space right there. And Pumpkin's got to move back. You got plenty of space right there. And now we can turn the camera down just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to work on one of these black canvases from Dollar Tree again. This is a really inexpensive way to have, honestly, what ends up looking like a really fun project. So far, I have not been disappointed. So just if you're looking for something fun to do, this is a good place to start. Very inexpensive. All right, so today we're talking stencils. Stencils are fun because you do not have to think about drawing and whatnot. You can just stencil in the fun. So I picked this one up at Hobby Lobby the other day because I could not pass up. Look at those fun butterflies and flowers. And then look at this side. So one of these days I'm going to find the right. I was kind of looking around really quick to see if I had something that I wanted to do this one on, and I don't have exactly what I want to do that side on yet. So what we're going to play with today is a couple of different things. Like I mentioned, we've got the black canvas panel, and then I also grabbed my background papers that we've been creating. Okay, have you guys been using your excess paint to make all these background papers? I'm going to show you today a couple of things we can do with these. And I've got a few new stencils here we're going to play with too. So this was the one from Hobby Lobby in the spring shop. And then these are some that I've gotten from Temu, however you say it. I never know. Did you guys find the video? Let me know where you're watching from today. Let me know if, let me know on a scale of 1 to 10, what your April creativity level was. 1 to 10, where would you rate your creativity level for April? Did we raise it up a little bit with some of our flowers? Did you jump in and try something new? Let me know. Because you know what? If it is a little bit low, then maybe we need to keep working on something, right? All right, so here's one of them, and I love these roses in the corners. I'm not so much focused on the music notes today, but I love the flowers that are in the corners of this one. Okay, and then this one is also kind of a background type design. Because it makes it look like it has writing on it. But the writing's, it's either in a different language or it's just, I'm thinking it's more like it's just not very legible. And it's got kind of this ink splatter in the corners and then this beautiful rose. Now I will say that down here, it is more legible. Rosa Indica Fragrant, I believe is what it says right across down here. So this up here, not so much, but again, a beautiful rose. And it does say, I love, right here. That's interesting. So we're going to play with these a little bit. And then I've got one more here that this one just spoke to me. And this one you can see is a big one. It is a big old 12 by 12 stencil. And this one, I had to grab it when I was placing my order because I absolutely love dragonflies. I love them. So let me show you. Look at that beauty. So that's another one that I'm going to have to find something that I want to do this stencil on and really have fun with it. But it has these smaller dragonflies that I wanted to play with today. So we're not doing this big giant one, but we are going to do something with the smaller ones. All right, so that's the stencils we're working with. Jane says, hi, Pumpkin Viking. Yes, your level went up to 7. Thank you, Jane. I'm so glad that you have started to embrace that creative journey. I'm so excited to see the paintings that you've been working on and that you're getting your creative center set up. And I think you are going to continue to blossom from here. Ha, yes, pun intended. All right, so while I kind of figure out what I want to do on this, I'm gonna ponder our black canvas first. But I want to take some of my background papers and look at how fabulous this is going to be. Is that not cool or what? I'm loving it. It's the perfect size. It's got Viking fur on the stencil now. But it's the perfect size to put it right there. And then you could even do something a little bit darker over it. I'm trying to decide what color I want to do it in. I've got a whole bunch of ink pads to the side of me here. Let me show you what else I've got. I grabbed a couple of my little blending brushes. This one, it's been washed, it's just stained. And this one, we used it the other day for brown, but it should be fine. I was trying to see if I had anything else here, but I'm really not seeing. I do have my regular stencil brush, so we might use that some. See how that works today. Like it feels good. It feels good. There's another stencil brush. Okay. All right, guys. On top of that, I also grabbed, I've got some Q-tips. I've got some makeup wedges. And then these are back in my Stampin' Up! Days, but you can get these still. And honestly, yeah, nope. These are going to be too old. They're falling apart. So scratch the daubers, but you can get these little daubers anywhere. Those have been around for too long. So no daubers today. I'm looking to see if there's anything else I have behind me that would work with this, and I'm not seeing anything else. So we're going to work with just blending brushes, stencil brushes. We're going to try the makeup wedge, and we're going to try some Q-tips. Okay, I've got all of this because I'm not 100% sure what's going to work best for us. So I want to do this rose in a color that is going to look nice with this, but it's not going to, like at first I thought about doing it in black, but black is going to be really, really bold. And I don't want this to be really super bold. I still want it to be more of a little bit of a background. So I've got this green that might be pretty, but it's a rose. So I don't know. There's a gray that might work. I don't know that I want to do the all green. Oh, that one might be. That one kind of goes too. Okay, here's what we're going to try. Because you know what? You don't have to do the whole thing in one color. Okay, so I've got this green that kind of goes. I've got this purpley that kind of goes. And then I've got this one that's just a gray that will coordinate with these. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put my card back down underneath here again. And I want this rose to be in this bottom corner here. I've actually got it where it's kind of running off a little bit. Okay, so I've got my rose, I've got a bud, and then I've got some leaves. And then around it is this funky writing. So I think what we're going to do is do the writing in the gray, the leaves in the green, and the rose in this purple. So let's give it a try. I'm going to start with my blending brush. And you know what? I think I'm actually going to tape this down to my board. Simply because I don't want it to move around while I'm switching these colors and such. So first, I'm going to tape down just my paper. I'm going to catch just this top edge up here. I'm not trying to create a border, I'm just trying to hold it in place. And then I'm going to take, because my stencil is bigger than my paper, I'm going to lay this down where I want it. Like right in there. And now I can tape down my stencil to my board. So this kind of shows you how, I'll lower this down even more so you guys can see a little more. There's pumpkin. This will show you how, even though my paper isn't as big as my stencil, I can still keep it in place. And see, now I can just hold it flat while I work on it. But that frees up my other hand to help me load my brushes and such. So this is one of my blender brushes that you can see. It's just, you can get them at Michael's, but you can also get these in the makeup section like at Dollar Tree. So I'm just swirling it around on my ink pad and see how it's picked up that ink. And now I'm going to go in and swirl around right here where the rose is. I'm going to show you another benefit of taping this down here in just a second. Let me get a little bit right here in this bud. See, my brush is kind of big, so it's really kind of covering more than just my rose, but I'm okay with that. All right, let's take a look and see how this looks. So because we have them taped down separate, I can now flip up my stencil and I can see where my rose has been stenciled on. Yeah, you guys can see that. See how when I move it a little bit, you can see the rose in there. Okay, so now I can bring that back down. And I know I want to work with a smaller brush or applicator for my leaves, because this one, you can see, goes out quite a ways. Sorry, guys. Come in. So sorry. As a matter of fact, let me put that on Do Not Disturb. Give me half a second here, guys. I should have done that first. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to try these just a Q-tip because I've got smaller areas. I'm thinking this will give me a different texture as well. I don't know. I don't think I've used Q-tips for this before, so we'll see. I can tell you right now that because my Q-tips are just cheapy Q-tips and Pumpkin is already being a klepto and trying to steal them, I can tell you that I'm not real happy with the way it's like already kind of coming apart at the end, if that makes sense. There we go. Just going into my leaves. I want to come down that stem. So yeah, Q-tips will work, but I can't say that I am just a huge fan of that. But it's working. It's getting the green on there where it needs to be. It's giving me more control than the first brush. So maybe, I mean, it's just a preference, guys. You don't have to, not everybody's going to like all the same thing. And maybe you've got different ways of doing things that are going to be better than what I show you. And as a matter of fact, if that's the case, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to see it. Okay, so I'm coming out and getting some of this green on these little bitty leaves that go around the little bud. And then making sure I catch this lower stem. And I've got a leaf that runs off the side right here. Now I will say, because I am having to be a little bit rough with this, that if you have a very delicate stencil, you could run into some problems. This one happens to be pretty stout. It doesn't have a lot of little pieces that are going to bend up on the image, so I'm okay with it. Okay, I've got my green on there. It's still very nice and faint, so I'm happy with that. Now I have to decide if I want to do any of my wording at all. And that is what we were going to do in gray. So let me close up my green. And let's go with our gray. And this one, I've never used these with the ink pads either. Let's see what it picks up. Okay, it does a pretty good job picking it up. See what it does. It's really faint. It's working. That's what we're going for. Remember, I'm going for more of a background look. I'm not doing anything that I want it to be like super in my face bright. This is still all about just a background option that I may use in mixed media projects, okay? Okay, now I can tell you that right up here where my tape is holding my card down, I am missing that spot a little bit. But I don't know that it's enough to worry about, honestly. I'm kind of just going around and hitting these little places that have the lettering around the rose. Okay, let's take a look at that. I honestly can't really tell that it's lettering. This is on the busy background that I have here. This is so light that I really can't see that it's lettering. So let's put this back down and let's go to this little one. And again, just ink it up, and then I'm gonna just rub it on just like I did with the rose. This little one does give me more control than the big one did, so I can really kind of get into my words a little bit more in depth. But it's also small enough, like I can get in here and do this I love right here. And some of these smaller pieces around the edge without really messing up what I have going on with the rose. again, just going around, and I'm just kind of scrubbing it in there. If this was a much more delicate stencil, I would have some problems with this part. But this one is pretty stout. I have to say, I've been pleased with the stencils from Temu. So far, I have not had any problems with the stencils that I've gotten from there. There we go. That's much better. Now you guys can see that writing in the background more. Okay, so now you can see how we can easily peel this off. And then just very carefully, when you're peeling off your tape, you want to kind of peel it sideways and down low to avoid tearing. And then look at that. See how fun those stencils can be? And now this can be part of a collage. It can be used in the background. Just because it's layered up like that, it doesn't mean that that's the end of its journey. Let's put it that way. A lot of times with mixed media, it's about the layering process that gives you the look that that you're going for. Okay. All right. Let me take the tape off for that one. And see, you can. It's just got the ink on there. You can easily clean that off with a baby wipe, very gently. So, encouragement card, add a message or a prayer to it. You've got the back that you can work with. So now you can see this is like taking that background paper we created with our excess paint to a step up. And then we can layer even more onto it, okay? All right, let's try another one here. Let me pick out a good flowery one. This one's kind of fun. That one's bright and flowery. So is that one. I need a dragonfly one. I kind of like this for the dragonfly. Okay, let's see. I want to do a dragonfly on this one, so let's try that. So I'm going to grab, and this one again is this big stencil, but it has these smaller dragonflies on it. So you do have to allow for the room to deal with the stencil. You know, as things go, as we're working with this, I don't even know that we're going to do our black canvas today with these stencils. I'm really having fun just with this. And look, this one's perfect. It just kind of runs off a little bit there. That's really fun. Okay, so now we have to decide what color we want to make our dragonfly. I got lots of options here. Look at that yummy purple. I'm kind of feeling that one. Let's try that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tape down my card again. Maybe. I got to think about it because where my dragonfly is, I don't want to miss any parts and pieces. So if you'll see, I'm going to have kind of the wings barely running off and the tail's going to run off. But right in here and right up here, I do have space where I can tape it down. So I'm going to come in right there and tape that down. Let me pull my stencil out so I'm not grabbing both of them. And then I can do the stencil right over that piece. So just see how I just reused my tape. No need to waste it. Okay, there we go. Pumpkin's still trying to steal the Q-tips. Pumpkin's a Q-tip fan. Look at that. That's a brand new pad. I hadn't even used it. A lot of these I got on clearance when Hobby Lobby was changing up their stamp pads and stamp section. So this one was the purple that I used before. This one's just a little bit brighter, so I'm not worrying about the fact that I'm doing a different color. It's close enough. Sorry, Pumpkin, am I getting in your face? He was like, wait a minute. Or as Connor said, hold up, wait a minute. Don't know where he got it from. I don't know. That you never know with that boy. So we've got something entertaining going on. Okay, let's get the other two wings over here. And if you see your ink is kind of starting to fade out, then just re-ink your brush. A little bit more on this wing right here because I want it to be fairly dark in some of those areas. All right, let's take a look. You guys ready? Now, these are permanent inks, so they're probably going to stain my brush, but I don't have a problem with that. And there's the dragonfly on our card. Yay. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and leave my card taped down. Watch this. We're going to come over here. No, I'm not feeling that after all. I was going to layer them up, but I really like this nice full one. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this one up. Pumpkin, what are you doing? And then again, I'm keeping my tape nice and low, pulling it more to the side than I am straight down. That's what's going to help keep it from tearing. Stick it right over here, see if I can reuse it. See, there's our dragonfly on that one. You could also, oh, I have some ideas, but I need this to dry for a minute. We're gonna add more to this. So you know what, guys? We're not gonna do the black canvas today. We're just gonna have fun with stencils. I'm here to stencil it up today, evidently. So I want to do another dragonfly. Let's try this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do this time is I'm actually going to leave my stencil taped down to my board right up here because I'm going to work with these two. So instead of taping my card down, I'm going to hold it in place this time. I could still tape it right down here, but I'm going to move my card around and just leave my stencil in place. So this time, let's do... I've got this one that's a carnation red, and this one is aquamarine. Let's try those two. Or, hold on. I have this really bright pink, but I think that's going to get lost on some of that pink right there. Let's try this one. All right, let's see here. I know I have more of those brushes, but I, for the life of me, am not positive where they've all gone, but here's one. Found one. But you know what? Which color do I want to use it for? Let's see if I have one more over here. No, that's all palette knives. So here's what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get all the cat fur out of it, first of all. And I'm going to show you. So again, I've used this one with antiquing wax. So it's been washed. They just get stained. It's okay. It's not carrying any color over So I'm going to go into my red and do this first one. I'm kind of liking this color. So what do you guys think of stencils? Do you like using stencils? Does it make it, am I explaining it good enough? Do you have any questions? It's fairly simple. Oh, and my card moved just a little bit, but that's okay. I'm done with that one. So see where that one is? Nice. Okay, now I'm going to take my brush, and I don't want to get it wet, because if I get it wet, then it's going to hold a lot of moisture, because these are really thick. So I'm just going to take my paper towel, and I'm going to just rub off as much as I can on the paper towel. See, most of that's coming out. Just keep rubbing, moving around a little bit until you get most of it out of there. Okay, now we're going to try this. I'm going to come right over here to this other little one and do this one right here in this lower corner, where it's a little bit lighter with this aquamarine turquoise color. So again, go ahead and ink it up. Okay, I'm getting that blue on there. That's what we're going for. And because this may still have a little bit of that red in there, it may turn it just a little bit purple. It's all good. It's all good, guys. Okay, let me lift that up and see where we're at. See that? See how they're a little bit shiny? That's kind of interesting, huh? And it's not so much that the ink is still really wet. That's just kind of how they're showing up on there. I did not expect the shiny. Okay, so let's take these to another level. I know we haven't done a lot. These don't really deal with flowers, but you know what? We can easily add, oh, hold please. Let me pull these out of here and show you what we can do. I'm looking to see if there's any flowers. You know what? I really like this one. Just, you know what? Nope, those are just going to be dragonflies. Dragonflies and flowers go well together. It's okay. We're going to do these on a different one. So let me pull this dragonfly one up. I want that ink to dry really well. So we're going to take it to our next level in a minute. So let me pull this one up. Stick my tape over here. Set this one to the side so I can clean it when we're done. And then I've got these other pages here that I want to do flowers on. And look, we have butterflies and bees that we can do too. So much fun. Okay, so I've got this little corner flower doohickey here. I do like this corner. Okay, so once again, I want to tape this down. So let me grab my tape that I'm trying to save over here, just so that I'm not using tape and tape and tape and tape. Make sure you guys can see this. And I'm just going to try to catch just the little edge, just so I can work with as much of that card as I possibly can. And then this one, I'm going to put in this lower corner here. So what I'm going to do is, because I've got Pumpkin right up here doing his thing, I'm actually going to go ahead and just tape it on the side right over here. That way I don't have to move Pumpkin, and, you know, he can stay. He can stay and craft with this. All right, there's my tape for my stencil, and now we're going to do this little bunch of flowers here. So once again, we want, let's play with the distressing ink. Let's see if that shows up any better. So there's a green. Let's see what other colors I've got here. Remember, the distressing ink is still just, you know what? I really like this green. It's really still just an ink pad. I thought I had a pink in these. There's purple. I kind of like that purple. So I'm doing this to show you, if you have the little distressing inks and that's the only ink pads you've got, then use those. That's okay. Just use what you've got. We're going to go a step further. Did you just see that light bulb go off, Jane? Did you hear it? Did you see it? It's time to take a drink, guys. Perfect. Okay, before I do this one, I am going to reach right here behind me and grab Tombow markers. You could do this with Crayola markers, Tombow markers, any water-based marker. Let me set these over here to the side because we're going to use those here in just a second. I'm really kind of glad we're not doing the black canvas. I'm having fun with these background papers. And I love that I'm showing you guys how we've made these with our bright colors. And now we're using them to take them a step further and do something with them. And you know where these are going to go? These are all 4x6 pages. You know where these are going? These are going into my Tidbits of Creativity art book. So this is how you can take and use different things like this to create your art. I can journal on the back, and then it's in my little art book. And I can continue building that collection. So excited about that. So excited. So if you are interested in the Tidbits of Creativity and creating your own art book like this and want to learn more techniques similar to what we're doing, you know what? Comment Tidbits and I will send you the information, because I'm getting that set up and getting people set into our founding members launch, and I would be so excited to have you guys join us as well. Okay, I'm trying to decide what we're going to do, how we're going to apply these. So let's let Pumpkin get down first. Come on. No, it's not time for a hug, big guy. Hop on down. There you go. So let's try these. Let's try our little makeup wedges. Oh, and look, I've got even more Q-tips in here. I've got several of these that are already cut apart. So here's what I like about these. These are very inexpensive. They're like less than a couple of dollars at Walmart, and you get a whole pack of them. But the other thing that I like about them is the fact that you can take them and you can take them and cut them in half, and that way you have 64 instead of 32. And now I can take my little sponge and ink it up. Okay, just going to ink it up really good. And now I'm going to come in and do my leaves. Oh, see, that works really good, guys. I like the makeup sponge because you can really kind of squeeze it down and really get into those little areas. If you have a stencil that has smaller areas like this one does for the leaves, I can control it a little bit more. I like this a lot better than I did the Q-tips. I can tell you that for sure. And if you needed to get even smaller, you could actually use this end and have an even smaller little surface to work with. Okay, so let me make sure. Okay, it's really light, but that's okay. Part of it is I'm going over green paint right here. So it's just not showing up as much. So what I can do is just come in and make it a little bit darker. Okay. And now I am going to do purple flowers with this one. So I'm going to take another sponge, and see, I can save that for other green projects, or I can snip this off and continue to use the sponge. That's what I really like about these little makeup sponges. So again, I'm going to ink it up. Sometimes these little distress inks can get away from you. And I'm just going to go around and do these 3 flowers down here. You can also use the rounded makeup sponges. I don't know if I have one handy right here. I have to keep them tucked away because the cats will steal these and chew them up. But you know, the rounded kind of blender sponges, you can use those as well. They don't give you quite as much of a harsh line as these can, depending on how detailed you're going and whatnot. It may be a better choice for you. Okay, then I'm going to take and do, you know what? Actually, I have an orange pad right here. Let's try that. I don't know how well that's going to show up, though, on this. I don't think it'll show up enough. Here's a nice bright pink. Look at that. That one was new, too. Yeah, I think I got these on clearance and I hadn't used them yet. Okay, so let's go with another sponge and just ink. Ooh, look at that. That's a really juicy stamp pad. And I'm going to come in and do these. Ooh, look at that. Now, because my stamp pad is brand new, it's super juicy, I have to be a little bit careful about the ink, how much ink I have in there, to make sure I'm not getting into the other areas, and I'm just controlling it a little bit more. So just be aware of that. Okay, so there I've got, you can tell the difference. So this is a regular stamp pad, brand new, where these are the distress inks. And I've been using those for a while, so they're not as fresh. I don't know, it's not, I guess it's not that much of a difference. So if you're wondering what stamp pads I'm using, I like to get the ones that are permanent, because that way I can use them with my stamps and then color them in without having to worry about whether or not the stamp is going to bleed. So StazOn and then the archival ink are both waterproof, water resistant. This one actually says waterproof. They're both permanent inks, solvent inks. So you can, like I said, easily go over it with watercolor or something like that, and it's not going anywhere. Okay, so there's our little flower corner. Now let's add a butterfly to this. So I'm going to leave my paper tape down where it is, and I'm just going to drop this down, and I'm going to drop it down to like right in here. But I want to move this a little bit because I'm covering the little butterfly trail. So I'm going to move my stencil tape down a little bit. I'm going to do this butterfly right here, and he's got a little swirly trail. And then we're going to do a little bee right up in here. Okay? All right, so for my butterfly, I want it to be really, really colorful. So, do we want pinks and purples, yellows and oranges, blues and greens? What do we want? Let's do maybe some bright orange. We could actually make it kind of like a monarch. this bright pink. I'm also trying to kind of keep in mind what colors I've already got on there. So I'm not 100% sure I want to do more pink because of my flower color that I'm working around. Let's start with this. Okay, so these are my Tombos that are the dual tip markers. It's a brush tip on one end, and then the other end is a little bullet tip for fine point. Okay, so these are water-based, which means I can use them just like a watercolor. So as I come in here, I can hold my stencil in place, and I can actually color in with my marker right into that stencil. So I'm still using a fun tool that I can use in a lot of other things, but gives me a lot of control with my stencil. I can make sure, like, these are all really little bitty areas. So it'd be harder to get into with some of these other tools. Maybe this little brush wouldn't be quite, you know, not as bad, but the marker definitely makes it a lot easier. Now, I don't know that I would do Sharpies on my stencil because the Sharpie is not going to come off of your stencil. This being water-based, it'll wipe off. Okay, so I've got all my inside done with the orange. Now let's bring in some kind of grayish black. This is a really dark gray. And I'm doing the butterfly body, and then I am going to do these outside wings with this color too. So it's going to be similar to a monarch, but not exactly. At least not at first. Because remember, we can add more stuff after we're done with the stencil too. That's what we're going to do on some of these others. So you can see how easy it is just to color that space in. Let's catch these over here. This is actually overlapping my one little flower right there. Pumpkin's back. So I'm just using my brush tip and just coloring this in. What are you doing, Pumpkin? And then I want to catch the little dashed line, like he's flying by. So I can do that with the same color. Pumpkin's tail is in the way, isn't it? A little bit. Boop, boop, boop. What are you doing, big guy? It's not hug time. Hey, it's not hug time. Oh, I took your space. That's why. Okay, you need to go lay down. Come on, lay down over there. There you go. Sorry, I mean to take your space. Lay down. Okay, so now we've got our butterfly. We're going to do some more to him. But let's move our stencil again. And let's get a little bee. So we have, I think this one right here, like he's flying over. Hey, don't be chewing on that. Pumpkin likes to chew on plastic, remember? And I've got my stencil package over here that he found. So let's just move that out of his way. Okay, this little bee right here can be like he's flying over here. Pumpkin, no, no. Okay, so I'm just moving my stencil, taping it down in a different spot. And I'm going to stick with that same color for part of this. So let's get his antenna. And then we want to add a couple of stripes with the dark color. And then catch his little fly line dashes. Okay. And then we're going to grab, you know what, I don't, I'm trying to see, I don't have yellow. Where'd my yellows go? Oh, I just had it turned around. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. They're here. Let's try a nice bright yellow and see how it turns out. Pumpkin, why are you making a mess? Flip that up. Okay, so I can't see that yellow very well. So let's go to a different yellow. And that's a little bit better. Part of it is just the color that we're going over. So I'm just really adding a lot of this to it. I know I took your space again, didn't I? There you go. He walks over and he's like, hello. Move it or lose it, lady. Okay, and then I'm going to see if I've got... I don't know that this one's going to turn out, but we're going to try it. my container doesn't want to close. Okay, so this one's like a really light kind of grayish blue. I don't want to add just a lot of color for those wings. I want them to be kind of transparent. So you know what I'm actually going to do? Instead of using my brush end, I'm going to switch to the bullet tip on this one and see if that makes a difference. Okay, I can definitely see them. Okay. All right. So I'm going to get these out of the way. This one goes in here. I do have my Tombows color separated by color coordinated, I guess you could say. So that it kind of makes it easier for me to grab just what I'm looking for without having to grab all of them. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove my stencil. Pull the tape off of that one. Set my stencil to the side here. Okay, and we're going to start working with this one because it's dry. And I'm going to grab, I had them right here. Where did I put them? I put them behind me. The Sharpie markers, and also I'm looking for my gel pen case. Where did I put that one? Whoops, there goes all the art. There's the gel pens. Sorry guys, let me grab these. My art is falling. Okay. So, gel pens. You guys know we've done a lot with those. I'm going to set this right back up here. And then this is my Sharpie creative markers with some extra fluff in it. I'm going to grab the white and the black out of this one. Maybe the yellow. And I just totally dropped the lid on that. So, there we go. Okay. So now we are ready to take these guys that we've stenciled another notch up. You guys ready for that? We're going to go another notch? Let's take a drink before we go another notch. I had sawdust on my cup from cutting out wood. Okay, first of all, I'm going to take this yellow and I'm going to try it right over my centers here of my flowers. I want to just add a fun little center, because right now it's just purple and just blends in with the petals, and that's not so much what we're going for. And I'm going to take my black and I'm going to come in and let's see the stencil. And I'm just going to come in and add, just like we have on other stuff, some little outlines. Just like that. Okay. Just kind of those skippy, broken outlines. There we go. And then same thing on these little guys that are kind of more like a tulip. And this one kind of goes behind the butterfly, so I'm only doing part of it. Okay, so there's that part. Now I'm going to take the white and kind of add, just again, those few little highlights here and there. Just adding some fun little detail, guys. That's all we're doing. We're just going to brighten up our stencil a little bit. You could easily do this to make cards if you're sending snail mail. Okay, while I've got my white out, we're going to go ahead and do some dots along the edge of the wings. So the harder I press, the larger my dot, because this is a brush tip. So I can use that brush tip to work for me when I want to vary that. Now, because these are going over Tombow markers, I can say that it is picking up just a little bit of that color, because the Tombow markers are not permanent. So just be aware of that if that's what you're using. You might need to take a piece of scratch paper and just get that excess ink off of the tip of your marker until it's writing just white again, okay? And then I do want to add just a little bit here and there, little highlights. Same thing with my bee. I just want a couple of little highlights on the bee. And then come around those wings. And I'm going to go with the black again and add just some little outline around the sections of the bee, just so that it kind of brings the bee together, and then add a few little black outlines on the wings. Okay. And then I'm going to take this dark outer edge, and I'm actually going to bring that in to kind of complete this butterfly. Just bring those lines on into that body to attach those wings. Yeah, see that? So now it looks a little more complete. Same thing right here. Sometimes with stencils, they don't finish the picture, and so you may need to just add just a little bit. Okay, I'm calling this one good. I really like this one. And then what I can do, I still have room in this corner right up here. I could actually letter a word in that. Look how fun that is, guys. With the flower, the butterfly, the little bee. Super fun. Okay, so there's our first one. Now we can also, let me look at my metallic pens that I've got right here. Let's take some of this gold color. Because I kind of lost the yellow here, I'm going to take some of this metallic gold and add it to these centers. Make them pop a little bit, and then kind of the same thing with these. Sorry, can you guys even see that? Not really. Adding a little bit of that metallic on the butterfly wings. I could have done that with like a silver or something. On the gold just kind of fits. Okay. And then I've got this nice purple one. We can come in and add another little highlight with the metallic on the purple flowers. The white, honestly, looks more purple right now as well than a bright white. It's fun. Okay, we've got green, so let's hit our leaves with our green. And then same thing, we've got a little bit of a stem there too. Let's hit that. And this will be a good color for our tulip flowers. And again, I'm just kind of doing that scribbly outline, going back and forth a couple of times. And now I want to take this color right here and let's zhuzh up our butterfly. And again, I'm just kind of scribbling over. I'm not filling it in completely. I'm just kind of scribbling back and forth over those orange segments. And that's just going to give it that extra little something. Be careful where you put your finger, because some of this could stay wet for just a little bit. With your pens, they might take a little bit to dry. I love the metallics, guys. If you guys don't have metallic pens, that is something that I would say, if you enjoy this, they make it all worth it. Let's see if I can catch the light on it. I can't quite get it right. You can see it every once in a while. See how it just adds that pop? There we go. All right, so that one I am definitely calling done now. I like it. Okay, so let's see what else we've got here. We want to keep our our metallic pens handy. We've got our dragonflies, and then here's our rose. We'll set that one to the side. Let's zhuzh up our rose. And for that, we did more kind of purple. I don't know about that. I think I might like this one better. This one, and then I need a green. Let me get my Post-its out of here so I can see a little better. There's a nice green. You know what? I'm not going to do green. I'm going to do gold. I have two different kinds of gold here. So I want to test this before I go onto my card. Let me see if I have just a little scrap of paper like this right here. So this one is like really kind of bright yellow. I don't know if you guys can hardly see that. And this one is more of a gold glitter. So this is what I want to go with. Always helps to have that little piece of scrap paper handy when you're doing stuff like this. Just because you never know what you need to test. Make sure we catch our leaves. So this one, I don't want to add the black because I don't want this one just to pop with just black. So I'm doing kind of outlines around the shapes with this gold because it kind of goes with the green, honestly. Okay, and then we're going to use, I like this pink. Because I want to maintain this kind of softer look to the rose. I'm not bringing in the black. But I am just coming in with my metallic. And again, kind of outlining, kind of scribbling through those sections that the stencil created. So as you can see, I mean, we've taken a little bit of time to make these today, but you can easily see how having a simple stencil, there's Viking, she's back too. Having a simple stencil, maybe a couple of ink pads or, yeah. See the rose now? See how it just sparkles? You can so quickly and easily add some flair to different things without a lot of extra stuff. I like to call stuff like this my multitaskers, because when I look at something, I look at how many different ways I can use it, because that's going to tell me if I purchase that, is it going to give me the ability to create in several different ways, or is it only going to let me do one thing and that's it? Those multitaskers are more worth my money because they're going to let me do more with my money. So that is definitely something that I consider, especially if I'm recommending it to you guys. I want to offer you guys the same thing. I don't want to just tell you, oh, you have to have this one thing, and then you can only do one thing with it. Now, obviously, there's some stuff that may just be how it is. Some stuff it is just a unitasker. Okay, I actually want to bring a little bit of black into this one. So I've got, let's see what color this one is. Grab my scratch paper. Nope, that one's like a silver. silver. I think once upon a time I used my black in something else and it did not make it back into this case, and that makes me kind of sad. But you know what? I've got, oh yes, my new favorite pen over here. Here it is. You guys, I used this Uniball Signo pen the other day, and it gives me a really fine detail line. So I'm going to use it instead of the big Sharpie markers to add some outline to these dragonflies. So I'm just kind of coming in and doing that sketchy outline around the dragonfly shapes. Super fun. I really like this pen, honestly. I am not a huge fan of, if I'm just writing, I'm not a huge fan of having such a fine tip as this one, a fine point. But I do really like this pen. And then this one, let's do blue on it. I love doing art like this that's just loose and free. You don't have to overthink it. It's just there. Okay, let's add a little bit of the black in there as well. Again, kind of outlining. I'm not doing just a solid outline. Again, just that sketchy, skippy. Okay, so now I've just got that extra touch on these two dragons. See how it's shiny? That's what that metallic brings to it. And with this one, because these are still mostly part of the background, I could actually come in with a word down here and a word up here, or a word and a verse or anything like that to make this into more of an encouragement card. Okay, so we've got one more dragonfly. And this one is, ooh, look. Let's see how this one turns out. Okay, so I've got this one that's like a glittery gel pen, and then this one is just a metallic. This one's a little bit lighter, so let's go with the darker one. And then I'm just going to come in and do the same thing. I'm coordinating these because I don't want these background images to just take over everything. So I'm doing the outline and then kind of coming in and just scribbling in a little bit of detail in the center. Because you know how dragonfly wings have that kind of veiny look? That's what we're kind of creating with this. I'm just going to turn it a little bit so I'm not sticking my hand in it. And then the body is very segmented as well, so we're going to maintain that. So unlike the butterfly that we finished out the stencil in a couple of areas, I'm not doing that with the dragonfly. I'm letting the dragonfly stay very segmented with this one. And I love how these metallic gel pens can really add that sparkle, especially to the dragonflies. To me, that's just how they are. It just makes them complete. Okay, that's still kind of wet, so let me let that dry for a second. And then same thing, we're going to come back in. I'll start on this side over here and just kind of outline some of these areas with this thin, really thin black. Don't overthink it. Don't think anything has to be perfect. This is just scribbly fun. The sooner you can learn to embrace that scribbly fun, the more fun you're going to have. It took me a while to realize that sometimes it's those loose lines that are the most relaxing. Not the ones that are so perfect, not the ones that you pull out the ruler for. Not all the fancy measurements, just those fun, loose, artistic lines. I think that is exactly why it just strikes a chord with me, is it does allow you to be more artistic and loose. And you know, sometimes in life, we just don't have that opportunity. Thank you, Jane. I'm really happy with these. These are turning out super fun. Inspiration, I guess you could say, because this was not the direction I was heading when we started this live, but I'm absolutely loving them. Okay, so there's my sparkly purple dragonfly. And again, I've got enough space to where I can add some wording around that butterfly, some lettering or anything like that. I love using these cards in my art journal, my little art book that I'm creating for Tidbits of Creativity, because you can, like I mentioned, you can be artistic, you can letter on them, but then you can also turn them over and do journaling or a prayer or anything like that. But the great thing is you can also use it as is, as the encouragement cards that we've been working on. All right, so let me go ahead and put all of these back in their bin, and all of these back in their bin. And let's see what all we have today. Let me get some of this out of the way. Pumpkin is snoozing here. Snoozing. Okay, so these are what we started with, where it's just the background cards. Just paint. Some of it is finger painted, some of it is scraped. Just using your excess paint. Okay, that's what you're going for. Don't waste the paint. And then we took those and we stepped it up with our stencils. Pumpkin's moving in, guys. He's moving in. And now we have these beautiful encouragement cards, art journal pages for our little mini art book, whatever we want to use them as. They're here to bring joy. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm like super relaxed right now after doing these. You guys see them a little better? See how sparkly they are? I love the sparkles. And look at how fun that one turned out with the wording and the rose. So, what's the word I'm trying to go for? It's just subdued, elegant. And honestly, when I looked at that background paper, elegant was not the word I would have put to it. But now with this on top of it, to me, it has that beautiful, elegant look to it. And then this one has more of the whimsy look. So it just depends on how you finish it out. See how I finished out the butterfly and connected those wings. The stencil didn't do that. So if you want to have those connected, as a matter of fact, I want to separate the top and bottom wings. So let me do that super quick. Just grab black. And I'm just going to come in and bring that in where that line would naturally be between those two. And just kind of round that out just a little bit. There we go. See how that worked? And it just kind of completes it a little bit. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this, working with the stencils and learning a little bit more about stencils. The tools that we played with, we did the makeup sponges, we did the brushes that are either blending brushes or makeup brushes. There's so many different ways you can, so many different places you can find these. We tried the stencil brush, and it was extremely light with the inks. These work really well with paint. So if we were painting this, then the stencil brush would have been better. And then we tried the Q-tip. I was not a big fan of the Q-tip. And I think that was it. We just worked with the different types of ink pads. So I've got the archival ink, the stays-on ink, and the distressed ink is what we used today. Okay? All right, guys. Yay. That concludes our April flowers. This was so much fun, and I am going to announce what we're going to be doing for May tomorrow. So, catch me tomorrow. I'm trying to decide, maybe I should let you guys vote. Do we want to do patriotic stuff? Because, you know, we're coming into Memorial Day and 4th of July, it's summer, and so a lot of people have the patriotic options up. Do we want to do beachy? I'm kind of liking the beachy idea, jumping into summer. So many options. So many options. So let me know what you think. If you have a preference, post it in the comments. If you guys catch this replay, give me a hashtag replay. I appreciate knowing that you guys have watched it and where you're watching from. And I hope you embrace stencils, because stencils can be a lot of fun, can add some artistic options that maybe you think are not in your wheelhouse. Maybe you think you can't draw a butterfly or a dragonfly or a rose. But with a stencil, you can get it on there and have these beautiful little pages to go in your art books. So I hope you guys give it a try, post them, and let me see what you guys create. And have a fabulous Tuesday afternoon and evening. All right, we'll see you guys soon. Don't forget to spread the splatter. Comment tidbits if you want more information. We'll talk to you guys later. My connection decided to be slow, and now I can't hit the button. Okay, there we go. Now it's back. Y'all have a good one.